Hello, good evening, good morning, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. We are live. Be answering your questions. We're helping you with your businesses to help you grow, to help you scale. I think my light is very bright. How do I lower this light here? And we'll be helping you out. So if you have any questions when it comes to scaling your business, paid ads, your conversion rate, choosing products to sell, or anything personal you want to ask me, I'll be here and helping you out. Make sure that you have everything you need to know to scale your business, overcome any challenges you're currently facing, and already see some questions popping up. We're 47 seconds in, and you already have questions, which is amazing, and very excited to help you out. I just came back 2 days ago from Russell Brunson Mastermind. It was a great event, and learned some good things that I would love to share with you. Probably not today. Today I'll be mostly answering your questions, but try to help you out as much as possible. So please just drop one in the chat if you. Oh, can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? Just drop one in the chat if you can hear me okay. Not audible. Can you hear me? Hello, hello. Just drop one in the chat if we have the sound. No sound, no sound. One. Let's fucking go. We have the sound, we have the sound, we have the sound. We are ready to go. Let's roll. All right. One. Let's fucking go. I don't know if you heard I don't know if you heard me talking shit about this product here, which is Apple. No one is using Apple Mouse. All right. Anyways, okay. I'll start. I'll stop talking shit and I'll just start answering your questions. So please drop your questions here. Not again. Stops your sound. Yes, I think I figured why. So basically, when I'm putting this cable into the mouse to make some stupid jokes, right? It disattaches. It basically stops my sound, right? Which tells me the universe is sending me this sign that I should stop making stupid jokes, which I won't stop. Universe, you have to reevaluate. Um, all right. Anyways, okay. I'll let me go. Ooh, so great questions. So great questions. All right. Question from Nissan Akaria. Nissan, is that a name? Is that like a real name or that like Nissan is a car, right? It's a Japanese name, probably. Great name. Nissan Akaria, reveal your product validation strategy. So, product validation strategy, there's few levers to this. Like the way I like to think about it, like number one is I like to validate products on Amazon, which means I want to go on Amazon and I want to see if the product that I want to sell is actually selling on Amazon. That's one of the best, sources of information, of data. It just has like so much data, insane amounts of data. So I'm using Amazon for that. Then I'm going and checking with some, intelligence tools. I'm checking whether the store that I'm trying to emulate, the product that I'm trying to emulate, is generating sales. I have some people that help with that, and then I'm checking if the product that I'm trying to sell is actively sold by someone. Are they running ads on Facebook? Do they have at least 100 active ads? Because for me, that says it. They're generating enough volume from their advertising efforts, so they keep spending money on ads and they're scaling up. So I do all of that, and then what I do is I get a sample for the product. Like, let's say, mostly I'm selling these days consumable products. So I would put my logo, I would put my branding on that product, and I would just put like a product page or landing page with that product, and I would validate it with ads. And I see whether that product is selling. Before I spend money on inventory, before I invest tens of thousands of dollars into like inventory, branding, all of that, I just design a mock-up for the product, branded packaging, so everything's very nice. I have that product like printed. I have like regular product. I give that product to a few content creators. They create content with it. They shoot some ads, and then I test it with paid ads. And if I see the product is selling, I move forward. I order inventory, and I move forward with it. And if not, I try to fix the funnel. I try to fix the ads. If it doesn't work still, I just shut down the product. If it works, I just roll out, order inventory, and go full force with it. Let me know if that makes sense, Nissan. I will try to connect, one sec. I will try to connect another charger. Apple, give me a break. Muted me again. I'll try to charge my mouse. That's so stupid. That's so stupid. Let me just charge my mouse here. All right, so charging my mouse again. Best product ever invented. Look at this charger. Look at the location of this charger. This is the worst thing in existence. Check it out, right? Don't be stupid. Don't put your charger on the bottom of the product that you want to charge. That's advice for Apple designers if you're watching this, which you should be. All right. All right. So thank you so much for the question, Nissan. Let me know if that makes sense. Clarify if that makes sense for you. Now, I want to cover this. Pandas World. How are you doing today, brother? Watching from China. Not a Chinese, though. Thank you so much for joining. Pandas World. Krish Patel. I want to sell a serum in the US market. The COGS are $15 plus $9 shipping. What I should sell it for to reach $5,000 per day ASAP. Okay, so now, number one, if that's your first product, if that's your first store, I probably wouldn't try to sell it in the United States. United States is hyper competitive market, and your ads in your funnel need to be really on point in order to sell the product effectively, because you will face pretty high CPMs and high competition. What I would try to do is I would try to sell this product in another market. I would try to sell this product in UK market, Canadian market, Australian market. I would try to find another market to sell this product in where the advertising costs are not as competitive. Even Germany, right? Depending on the language that you speak, depending on the advantage you have there. Krish Patel, it seems like your last name is Indian. I believe India is probably it's an amazing e-commerce market. So I would even look into the Indian market and see if you have the opportunity there. I don't know if you speak Indian, but I think Indian market is phenomenal from the e-commerce standpoint. It's fast growing. It's a massive market. It's 1.5 billion people. India has more population than China, if you look at statistics, and it's also growing faster. So India is a tremendous market to sell your products in. Now, most people don't have a lot of disposable income in India, but the ones that do can buy anything you sell. And also the competition is pretty low. So that's what I would do. I would focus on lower competition markets. If you are going with a product that is very competitive, like serum, skincare products, they're usually high competition products, pretty high CPMs. So I would find the arbitrage in one of the markets that have lower CPMs. Let me know if that makes sense. Krish Patel. Josh Tiller, development guy. How do you create ads when you're drop shipping and don't have the products? Only competitors. So how would I create ads if I'm drop shipping and I don't have the product? I would order the product from Amazon, similar product. I would slap my branding, my logo on it, just like print it, slap it, make photos, make content, and validate the product. If the product is selling, then I would talk to my supplier in China, or wherever you're sourcing your product where like depending on the country where you're sourcing it, and I would put my branding, my logo on my products. But I would not do that if you're just if you don't have the validation the product actually sells. So I would first generate sales with just kind of like a mock-up, like dry run, dry test, before you start investing a lot of money into the inventory and custom branding. Let me know if that makes sense. Josh Tiller. Hi, coach. Hey, my man. Thank you for joining. How to validate a newly researched product. I think I just covered that. Fan of DTC. How long does it take to reach 3 million a month in Germany? Like time frame, if I have guidance like ESS. How long does it take? I mean, it will take you some time, not because of like scaling, right? Like just like spending more money on ads, but just from the cash flow standpoint, because you will, like, if you try to scale very fast, you'll probably have some cash flow constraints. You'll have some holes, you'll have some reserves. And so in order for that to kick in, like it will take you probably like a year to get to those numbers. That's what I have seen. I've seen quite a few people done those numbers in this time frame of a year. But if you're going after that market aggressively, if you focus on it, like that's pretty much, in my experience, what it takes. So let me know if that makes sense. Hey, Alex, how do you deal with inconsistencies during the learning phase? Also, is it okay to bump the budgets, which restarts the learning phase and messes up with results? I don't think, like, if it's still like in the learning phase, like the most important thing, I mean, at the end of the day, is your like product market fit. Like from my perspective, like that's the most important thing. So whether your ads are good and whether your funnel is good. And if it's good, increasing the budget will still work well, right? For example, we have some ads, we have some campaigns that we're launching like brand new. And if they're catching the right part of the market, and if the ads are good and the funnel is good, they're still in the learning phase. They don't have a lot of spend, and we're increasing budgets on those, and they work very well. So at the end of the day, there are certain things you can control and certain things you cannot control. Like you cannot control the algorithm and which segment of your audience the algorithm hits. And even if you're on your good assets, on your good campaigns, you will still have some inconsistencies day to day. The way I like to look at it is a bigger time frame, so at least like 3 days. For example, the first day is very good. The second day might be not as good, but you have to, like, on those days you can downscale your budgets. But then next day after that, let's say you also have good results. On those days you can increase the budgets, and even if it's like in the learning phase, you can still get amazing results. Let me know if that makes sense. Someone. All right. When you use advertorials, do you still use purchase for conversion or link clicks, view content, something like that? Purchase. Yeah, just purchase. Like that's just a different quality of traffic. I would not I would not optimize for anything besides the purchase, because you might get a lot of link clicks and you might get a lot of cheap link clicks, and like on the paper, on in your dashboard, it would look very good. Like you get, oh, I'm getting so cheap clicks. Oh, I'm getting, very good view content. But then that traffic doesn't convert, so that traffic is pretty much useless, because Facebook knows behaviors of people. They know who's most likely just to click on ads. And if you're optimizing on that, then you'll get a lot of people who click, but not a lot of people who buy. So for me, like 99% of everything that we do is optimizing for purchases. And we tried optimizing for different, like add to carts, like even initiate checkouts, but that traffic simply is not as good. So optimizing for purchases is what I would recommend. No. All right. Perfect. All right. So next question is, what's been the highest amount of money your students have made from your program? So we've had people that have been in our program, and for example, one of our clients, Simone, he's from Italy. I think we'll post the interview with him within the maybe this week or next week. He went from when we started working with him, he was at about $100,000 per month. He was running like 10 different stores to make $100,000 a month. We started working with him, and I told him, just like, shut down the projects, shut down the stores that are not as promising, and just focus on the one that is the most promising to you. And he decided to do that. That was about 2 years ago. And now, like in August, he generated $5.7 million in sales. Was a one store, was a one main product that he was selling. So he's probably one of the highest ones. We have some people that have been through our community that like 2 years ago, 1 year ago, and now they're doing over 10 million a month. And we have many of those as well. So yeah, we've have quite a few people that have, and we're still friends with them. We're still like exchanging what's working for us. Like in our businesses, they're in different niche. But yeah, we have quite a few killers in our community. How to validate brand new research products? So I think I answered this one. Any things on coloring book or POD? I don't know, Alex. Please clarify what do you mean. What do you mean by that? So I can answer your question. We have a Richie Domin. What do you think about that? What do you think about that? Yesterday I had 6 ROAS with 30 purchases. Today 2 sales, ROAS 0.5. Yeah, you have to just like look at it from the bigger standpoint, because most people in this case, they would think, oh, the product is that, or oh, the product is saturated, and they would just shut down their store. Like they're just like, okay, let me move away to like another product. You just have to look at it from the bigger time frame. So for example, if you focus on the things that you can fully control, which is your ads and your funnel and your product, if the product is validated, something that people want to buy in a validated market that has a specific problem that you're solving with your product, then you just focus on those, and then next days will be better. And then the more data you get, also you start optimizing the backend, and your business becomes more stable. So I would just not take it emotionally. And I know it is emotional, and there is like a depression. I remember when I was starting out and I had those like bad days, I would get depressed. Like I would be like so upset. It's like, oh, product probably died. And I would shut down the product. I would just move away to something else. And then I would see other people that also started the same time as me, and they would continue focusing on that product, and they would make, tens of millions of dollars. And I'm like, oh, okay, now it makes sense. They just stuck to it. So as long as your foundations are good, as long as you've chosen the right product, you have good funnel, you have good ads, like it will stabilize over time. But just don't take it emotionally. Don't just like shut down your product, your store, if you have like one bad day. Like it's the same as any business. Like if you have like a restaurant, and it's like, you have a good day and you have a bad day. It's not like you're shutting down the restaurant if you had a bad day. Or it's like you have another service business and you have good months and you have bad months. It's not like you're shutting down the business if you had a bad month, right? So you're just learning from that experience. You're thinking what you can optimize and what you can do better, and you bounce back from that. Let me know if that makes sense. All right. So, hey, Alex, when people talk about these big numbers, when scale, how does they support like the inventory and able to fulfill $1 million worth of product a month if the product cannot make it in time? You just plan better. And sometimes, if the factory cannot make it in time, number one, search for other factories that can potentially make it on time, right? Maybe you're not working with the right factory, and working with the right suppliers is the key here. By the way, if you want the list of suppliers that I'm personally using, just DM me suppliers on Instagram. I'll drop my Instagram here. I'll send you my list of suppliers that can source any product. They work with multiple different factories. They can source pretty much any product for you at very good cost. So this is my Instagram here. DM me suppliers there, and I'll send you my contacts. So the key is to work with the right supplier. If you want to focus on there's nothing that cannot be manufactured unless your product is very, very complex, and that's what I would focus on. And then number two is, you have to pace. Sometimes you can't go from like $0 to $1 million a month, especially if you have those like cash flow constraints or factory constraints. So in that case, you would have to scale more gradually. But if you look at any successful businesses that have scaled to massive numbers, like the first year in business, they did like maybe $500,000. Like even the company called Olipop. There's this company in the United States called Olipop. And the first year in business, they generated $800,000. That was about like 5 or 7 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Like this last year, I think they generated $300 million. So the first year was kind of like shit for them, right? They kind of like just figuring out, different parts. They're figuring out their cash flow. They're figuring out the right factories to work with to produce product on a scale. But then after that, it jumped, right? So as long as you don't have those like very like unrealistic expectations in terms of like how much volume you want to do, like people want to go from $0 to $100 million in 1 year. In most cases, that's the stupidest thing that you can do, because if you want to sell your business one day, then you would have to just pace that growth. It's better to do, let's say, $10 or $20 million the first year. Next year, like $50, $60 million, because then if you want to sell the business, that growth is more consistent over time versus you go to 100 million the first year, and then it's like you simply cannot grow a business as fast. And when someone wants to buy your business, they will look at the consistent growth over the period of time. So from that perspective, it's better to grow slower, which is not like people just want to like, oh, it's like I want to be like this like crazy scaling, the first year, like massive numbers, and then that growth simply is more stagnant. So I would focus on less aggressive growth, but more stable growth over the period of time. Also optimizing for profitability, making sure that you have, good profitability in the process. So that's what I would focus on. Let me know, Sean Ya Jr., if that makes sense. We are selling Tommy Lee Bastian. We're selling US saturated product in European countries, doing well about 2K a day. Do you think we can still make a big EU brand, or we absolutely need to sell in top 4 to make it really big? In Europe, you can get it to 1 million months for sure. Like, so you're not even like scratching the surface there. In different European countries, obviously more complexity. You'd have to translate to different markets, different countries, but if that's working for you, that's what I would double down on. And once you are at that point, and you also in the process became a better marketer, you know how to create good ads, you know how to create good funnels, now you can go into big 4. So you can absolutely do, and we have several people in our community that are doing millions of dollars per month in European markets. So that's what I would focus on. Tommy Lee Bastien. All right. So Ecam, I DM'd you on Instagram based on the sales copy you said I should do. You saw the message, but no response. Please just follow up. If I didn't respond, if any of you guys message me on Instagram, just please follow up again. Sometimes, I'm missing the messages. Like I have thousands of messages in my DM. Just follow up and I'll send over whatever resource. This is my Instagram, by the way. And any resources that I mentioned throughout this call, like suppliers, product research, Facebook ads, either testing or scaling different frameworks. I have different tutorials. I have different documents. Just DM me on Instagram, Alex Fedotov 3F at the end. Whatever resource, like either it's Facebook ads, just DM me Facebook ads. DM me product if you're looking for resources for products. DM me suppliers if you want the list of my suppliers that I'm personally working with. And I'll send you those resources ASAP. Info products with VSL still works. Yeah, it still works. Short answer, it still works. For D2C jewelry company, what's the best way to use Meta ads to validate new design concepts before investing in manufacturing them? Create simple image ads, create different formats of those image ads. You can even use AI to create those image ads, test them out with ads, and if it's profitable, you can invest in manufacturing them, or you can find a supplier. Again, I have great suppliers. Just DM me on Instagram. I'll send you the list of those suppliers that you can potentially work with. All right, so this is, I think, from Krish Patel. You answered the first part of the question. Would people buy this product at this price in other countries, like for $60? That is a subject of testing, right? That is the purpose of testing. Like you test it out. If that price point works, overall, like your cost structure is pretty high. So I would see if you can source that product for cheaper. I think it's like what, $15 or so for your COGS. That's pretty high. So I would see if you can source that product for cheaper. Unless your product is super high quality and you can position it as a premium product. But for $60, you probably need some advertorials. You'll need VSLs. You'll need to figure out how you're selling it like more effectively. Fan of DDC. Sorry for asking noob questions, but how much do we net percentage of 3 million a month in Germany market? I can tell you, what's typical profit margin at that volume, and that's usually between 10 and 20%. So that's what I have seen specifically in the German market. What is the conversion rate you look from advertorials to sales page to checkout, and the checkout conversion rate and upsell take rates? We use 5 upsells after our checkouts, but I've heard 2-3 is max, but 5 works. If it works for you and you are prioritizing more the front end AOV than long-term kind of like value of your brand, then 5 is okay. Conversion rate from advertorial to sales page, 30%, what we're aiming for. Sales page to checkout, about 50%. Overall conversion rate on the checkout. If you're selling a product with AOV of about $100, I would aim for at least 2.5-3%. Upsell take rates, ideally 15-20%, and then obviously it drops the more upsells you have. But upsells take rates will depend on how congruent the upsells are with the main product that you're selling. So if you're selling the product that on the upsell that is not very congruent, then probably you'll have 5-8% take rate. Ideally, it's 15-20% take rate that you should be aiming for, at least for the first 2 upsells in your funnel. Let me know if that makes sense. How long would it take to create a subscription model, and what software would you use for that? Sativa Dynamic. Subscription model, just recharge on Shopify, or if you're using external funnel builders, you can use those. You can use Stripe. It's a little bit more risky. You can use external processors like Maverick. You can use Aurora. You can use, there's so many of them, as long as you're working with the right people. And yeah, that's pretty straightforward. But your product in the first place needs to be something that people want to buy as a subscription. So for example, if you're selling a gadget on the front end, and that gadget is something that people only buy once, people will not take it as a subscription. unless you trick them somehow into buying a subscription, because they don't need one of those products every month or every 3 months. So it has to be something consumable. It has to be like consumable product, or it has to be accessory for the main product that you would sell as a subscription. But for Shopify, it's pretty straightforward. You can use Recharge. Recharge is a simple one on Shopify. There's other ones that you could potentially use, but Recharge is a good starting point. You said your students 10 million a month, like 10 million a month was AliExpress product or custom products? Custom products. At that volume, you cannot get there by just simply selling AliExpress products, unless you have some unique advantage in place. And overall, that will not be a very stable brand. So these are custom products. You validate first with a dropshipping model, and then you brand products and improve products and make them more custom to yourself and your brand. And that's how you get to those numbers. Let me know if that makes sense. All right. So Mehdi, thank you, Alex, for your transparency. What is the average margin percent for the business you talked? 5.5 million you said for a student. What is the margin? 20% for him. So he made over 1 mil profit. How can I support inventory in a store if a store scales to millions monthly? What if factory cannot make it? I think I answered this one for you, Sean. You just need to work with the right factories that can actually manufacture it. And then you have to do the inventory planning for 2-3 months ahead to make sure that you have enough inventory to sell. And the way you do it is you just have to pace, obviously, the scaling process. Like, you cannot go from like 0 to 3 million a month in 1 month. This way you can just like, if you're not shipping your products on time, if you don't have products, you'll have massive holes on Shopify. You'll have massive holes with other payment processors. So I would just pace that scaling more gradually, months over months. And you can use different processing, like different credit lines. There are different credit lines that you could use to support the scaling of your business. Like Shopify has financing plan. Stripe has a financing plan where you can get capital from them and just repay them. You just have to calculate if it makes sense for you financially to pay the interest on those on that financing in order for you to scale your business. Tommy Lee Bastien, we're selling saturated US product in European countries. Is going well. Do you think we could still build and exit a great European brand, or we really need to be in the top 4 to do it? Tommy Lee Bastien, that is an amazing question. So you can still sell the business in European countries. You would have to do everything legally. You have to pay VAT. You have to do everything by the book if you want to exit there. If you are selling in Big 4, that gives you a big advantage. For example, there's a lot more people looking to acquire a business in the US market than there are people that are looking to acquire businesses in European market. So just the pool of potential buyers, like private equity firms, private buyers, people that operate portfolios of brands in the US market than there are in Europe. So I would just use European markets as kind of like a gateway to initially get traction, and then you can stock your like American, for example, or Big 4 stores on top of it, so that overall, as a portion of your sales, when you're ready to exit, US is at least 50%. This is when you are getting great valuation for your company, and that's also when you can sell your company to some US like portfolio companies or private equity firms, because they will be looking at percentage of customers that are in the United States. You can sell your company as international company with a majority of customers coming from the United States. So that is a more long-term strategy. If you wanted to exit, you can definitely sell just like European based, but yeah, just the pool of potential buyers will be a lot smaller. And by the way, Tommy Lee Bastien, just let's connect on Instagram. Ping me on Instagram. These are great questions you're asking. Would love to help you with any resources. Some conversations I've had with people that have exited the business, so that you can get more clarity on what you have to build in order to exit. Mohammed Imran. Hi, Alex. When do we do product research? A lot of products that we find already have been sold a lot. For example, Sciatica, there are only 3-4 products that are selling which are selling, how do you find any other type for this? The fact that the products have been sold in the past effectively and someone scaled them, it doesn't mean that you cannot sell the same product effectively, right? So I would focus more on the problem that you're solving. So sciatica, for example, is an evergreen problem. It's something that has been solved for a long time and will always be solved, because this is a problem that people are constantly facing. I would just focus on the marketing that you have for your product, your VSLs, your advertorials, and making sure that the product that you're selling actually solves that problem, and you're communicating that problem that you're solving in a very good way. In terms of VSLs, you're explaining how your product is different from other products that people have tried in the past, and you can just get momentum with that. And over time, you can develop some of your own custom products, complete custom products. If you're working with the right factory, you can source products that are not even sold by other people, but at the same time, they're solving exact same problem that you're solving. So, for example, I'm going to China this month to see what other products we can introduce, what other products are popping up right now in China, so that we're on the front lines, what's actually being developed, what other products are being brought to the market that are not as, kind of like popular right now, and like pretty much no one is selling them. And so that is a way to do the product development. But we also only doing this once we have enough momentum with the product that we are selling right now. And the product we are selling right now are the products that have been sold for a long time. So I would focus on the controllables. In this case, it's just your marketing, your VSLs, your advertorials, how you're selling those products, and the problem that you're solving for your customers. Let me know if that makes sense. What is a good conversion rate for an advertorial? Depending on the average order value. If your average order value, let's say $100, I would aim for 2.53%. I applied to use the payment gateways Checkout, Koom, and Molly. I was not accepted. Is there a reason? Because I'm not a resident of the UK. Do you have a solution for this? Thank you. Molly. Checkout.com and Molly. So Checkout.com usually prefers if you're doing at least $300,000, $500,000 per month in sales. You don't have very high chargeback ratios. Molly, I think it's the one for Netherlands. So you might need someone who's actually based in Netherlands. So MNCK. DM me on Instagram. I might introduce you to some people that are specifically, let's say, in Netherlands, that might guide you in the right direction. We have quite a few people in our community from Netherlands that are selling effectively there, so they might be able to help you out. So just DM me on Instagram, and I'll connect you. Hatim, how can you reduce your product fails, and how can you get your product winning rate higher? What will we focus on? Because sometimes you test 30 to find one. I think the reason you have such a low product win ratio is that you're not dedicated enough to find a specific problem that your product faces, that your product is solving, and not just kind of like you're just randomly testing products. What I would focus on instead is identify the product or the niche that has an evergreen problem, and then figure out how you can explain that problem to your potential customers in a way that's different from all of the other people. And for that, in saturated markets, you have to explain how your product is specifically different from other products that have been sold, or why, for example, other products didn't work for the specific customer, right? So the reason you have, let's say, back pain is not because you're not doing this or this or this, but because like you're not addressing this specific issue that is causing back pain in the first place. And then you explain the unique mechanism behind that problem, and that's how you're able to differentiate from other people. But if you're not putting enough attention on that, and you just like randomly testing different products, then that will have a very low success rate. Let me know if that makes sense, Hatim. It's basically you have to go deep instead of just going wide and broad. This is how most people do it. They just like slap the product page, they just slap some ads, and they're trying to test it, and they hope that will work and that will resonate, instead of just really understanding who you're selling your product to, what the problem that your product is solving for that customer in a unique way, and then focusing all of your marketing on explaining why your product is different from anyone else selling that product. So if you focus on that and you do enough research before you actually start testing and selling specific product, your success rate will be a lot higher. Let me know if that makes sense. Advertising AI video creation with subscription, any strategy? As I'm running Facebook lead generation campaign. I don't know what is the question here. Mohammed Zuhair, you can definitely use AI video ads. You can use AI UGC. You can test out those formats. There's apps like Creatify. There are apps I literally created this week or last week. I posted a video on how to create these ads using Creatify, and that is that's something that you can check out for yourself. Creatify, Arc Ads, you can do those kind of ads to sell your product or service. 3 months, 3 million a month, Germany, multiple stores, multiple products. They need custom products or possible with AliExpress. I think I answered this one. At that volume, you probably need some custom products. If you wanna keep it consistent, and also if you want to differentiate from other people, if you're just selling like standard AliExpress products at that rate, like it will be easy for other people to copy you. It will be easy for other people to jump on it. So the more differentiating points for your product you have, the more difficult it will be for other people to start selling the same product. So as your business starts traction, you want to think about like, what is the moat, right? What is the kind of like what is the moat? Like, what is the defensibility of your business, right? How your product is different, how your marketing is different, right? How your team is different. If you have, for example, only like VAs on your team that are not very like proactive, or they cannot bring some new ideas, they cannot innovate, then you'll be losing to people who have amazing people on their team who can innovate, who can write good copy, right? So at that point of the business, you'll need to focus more on your team and your products and differentiating your products than you just like spending more money on ads. Because at that volume, people will start ripping you off, and that's usually what happens. And if your product is not differentiated, then they'll be able to just get your market share and put you out of business. What will you advise to someone who just started doing e-commerce? I would advise to someone who just started doing e-commerce to not focus on this as just like money-making opportunity, but focus on it as a business. If you focus on it as a business, and if you think about it long term, and the skill sets that you are acquiring while building that business, then you'll be able to build something amazing. And if you're just focusing on it to make a few dollars and then just jump to another opportunity, or like just kind of like switch from one thing to another, those people are never successful long term. This is Fatima A. Toledo Castillo. Let me know if that makes sense. So that's for me the biggest thing is the mindset, how you think about the business that you're building. Are you constantly obsessed about making that business as good as possible, optimizing your products, optimizing your ads, building your team? If you think about more long term, then you'll be able to succeed long term. When creating ads, do I send the script copy to the UGC creator and ask them to read it? Isn't that hard for them? No, it's not hard for them. And that's exactly what you should be doing, because most people, they are not good at like presenting your product and all of the differentiating points of your product in a way that actually sells the product. So you want to focus on UGC creators that can follow the script, that can read the script. They have to read it in a exciting manner. They cannot be just like, yeah, this product does this, this, and this. They have to be excited about the product and explain it and like, show different ways of using the product. And that's what you have to guide them through. And if they cannot do it, they simply are not good UGC creators in the first place. Let me know if that answers your question, Sean Jr. All right. How you're trusting Chinese suppliers with consumable items, especially when there is many people faking certification? Question from someone. It's an amazing question. And the way you do it is you have to, the way you do it is you have to focus on the right suppliers in the first place. For example, the suppliers that we are working with, they actually go to the factories and they verify all of the certifications. They see how good the factory actually is. They talk to the management. So they do a lot of the due diligence to make sure that the factories that we are working with are legitimate. And that's why, we're also going to China, and we want to validate, how good these factories are. We want to talk to the owners of the factory. We want to make sure that the factories we are working with are completely legitimate, but most of that work has been done by our suppliers. We just want to, just negotiate. We want to establish that relationship even further, but you just want to work with the right people. If you're working with the wrong people, if you just like randomly go and like find some supplier, or someone DMs you on Instagram, or someone DMs you on YouTube, or someone DMs you like anywhere, and they're promising you the world, I would not work with those people. I would only work with people that have been proven to work for people that you trust. Let me know if that makes sense. Pandas World, we can meet in China. Let's go. Let's make it happen. My schedule is pretty packed, but let's see what we can do. Just DM me on Instagram, and yeah, maybe we'll figure something out. Review Scientology USA. You mentioned you can create your own products. Where do you find the product development companies that do that? How do you do partnership and keeping the rights of the product as well? That is a great question. Number one, you just work with the right factories that can do the product development in-house. So for example, if we give them the custom formula for the product, they're creating the sample for that product. They're sending it back to us. We either approve it or disapprove it, or we give them feedback to improve it further. Then it's another round of testing. We send them the feedback. They improve the formula, sending it back. We either approve it or disapprove it, give them feedback. And then it's usually a few rounds of sampling. Once we approve it, we have the the completely custom formula. And so the good factories that you'll be working with, they usually have, if they're selling gadgets, they usually have the catalog of items that they're selling. And for some of those items, we can establish the exclusive reselling agreement if we demonstrate that we can push enough volume. And for our custom products, we have complete, and it's exclusive to us. So one can just like, unless people just want to reverse engineer a formula and sell similar products, that factory will not allow other people to sell the same product as we do. But again, everything comes down, like all of these questions, everything comes down to working with the right suppliers. So if you're not working with the right suppliers, and I can introduce you to some good suppliers here, just DM me on Instagram, DM me suppliers, and I'll send it over to you. And that's pretty much what I would do. Like that's the one thing, that one domino piece that moves all of the other domino pieces, just working with the right people. And life is too short with to work with the wrong people. So you definitely want to dedicate enough time to choose the right partners when it comes to product development. Do you test by sending straight to the product page to see whether or not people want the product for what it is, or do you go straight to testing advertorials with multiple angles? For us right now, we have the capacity to do like advertorials with multiple angles because we have copywriters on our team. We have researcher on our team, so we can do a lot of research about the product. We can craft multiple angles, advertorials via sales. But if you're just starting out, you can just test with a product page or landing page, simple landing page. What's the best strategy to test these days for Meta, and what's the ideal budget? Testing, keep it simple. Just ABOs, different audiences. You can go broad. You can test some interests if you want. The biggest thing that you want to focus on is your creatives and your ads. So for us, we're testing several different angles for the products that we are selling. And so we have very simple structure. Then we have multiple creatives, and we see which angle resonates the best with the product that we are selling. Once we find the winning angle, we start crafting more creatives for that specific angle to get that initial momentum. And by the way, I have some great outlines for different testing strategies. Fahad, if you can DM me testing on Facebook, then I'll send you some documents, some outlines, some tutorials on how to set that up. All right, Anita, how do you know if your audience is saturated in a small country? If your audience is saturated in a small country, like, I mean, if you're pushing like 30, 50 creatives a week, and you see your results are kind of like diminishing over time, then probably it is saturated. Most of the times it comes down to the creative, because some people will buy from the image ads, some people will buy from the video ads, some people will buy from the VSL. So different audiences will respond differently to different types of the creative. But if you're just hammering everyone with the same ad for like 3 months, and then you see your results are declining, it's not about the audience that's saturated, it's about your ad that is saturated. So I would focus on testing enough creatives first, and then you'll find if that is a reason why the product is declining. All right. Do you have any solutions I make about SimX? Do you have any solutions I make about 30K per month, but Stripe always prevents me from expanding? Do you know some alternatives? Yeah, there's quite a few alternatives to Stripe, depending where you are based in the world. If you can DM me on Instagram, SimX, DM me payments. Just remind me the context of this conversation, and I will be sending you some great resources, and I'll see how I can help you. Interview with Topi, he's doing 2 million a month. Is that with custom products or AliExpress product? Custom products. Again, you will only be able to scale so much with AliExpress products, because it's easier to rip, it's easier to copy, it's easier to just like copy your landing pages, your ads, because it's not differentiated in any way. After like initial validation, like you could probably get to 100, 200, 300, 500K per month max with very standard dropshipping products. After that, you want a brand, you want to differentiate your product, you want to develop some custom products, and you just want to move towards something that has, some defensibility. Defense yourself. Like at some point, your biggest like enemy will become your competitors that simply ripping up your ads, ripping up your content, ripping up your landing pages. And if you don't have a product that's differentiated from other people at that point, then it will be easier, much easier for them to just copy you and take your market share. Fatima, thank you. Thank you so much for the question. Close corner. What is better, dropshipping or e-commerce store? I mean, I don't know what you mean by that. You can have e-commerce store that's dropshipping, or you can have e-commerce store that's branded and selling custom products. So that's pretty much the same thing. Let me know if you have more context for this. Chloe's Corner. How much time the person need for starting profitable e-com dropshipping brand? Half a year, and how much money he will need? Vitaly Serbin. So how much time? At least few hours a day to start with. That is a good starting point. But then as the business gets momentum, ideally it will be something that you do full time, because only if you're doing it full time, you'll be able to realize your full potential and the full potential of the business. How much time? Half a year? I would say, yeah, between 6 and 12 months is that. If you are focusing on it and if you're dedicating time and if you're learning every single day, then you'll start getting some traction. Sometimes even faster. We've have some people in our community. Like last week, I interviewed Sui from our community. He started his e-commerce business 6 months ago, and now he's doing over $100,000 per month with his business. How much money you'll need? Probably like $5,000-$10,000. I would say it's a good starting point. Ideally more than that, so you have some budget to play with and you have some money to spend on ads. But I would say $5,000 to $10,000. Can you use just English Shopify store for European countries? You can absolutely do that. The only problem with that is like it will hit some limits. It will hit some threshold, because there's only so many people in European countries that are speaking English. And also, if you don't have native payment methods for different countries. Like, for example, for Netherlands, I think it's Molly. That's the main one. For Germany, it's Klarna and PayPal. So if you don't have your ads, if you don't have your store set up with a native payment processing, that will hurt your conversions, and that will limit on how much you can sell in a particular country. What is advertorial exactly? I have some amazing tutorials explaining what advertorials are. If you just DM me advertorials, because it will be like probably too long for me to explain it in this live here. Just DM me advertorials. I'll send you some tutorials. I'll send you some examples. Advertorial is just a different way to sell your products, where you before you introduce the price for the product, before you introduce the product itself, you educate customers on the problem that they're having. You introduce some story of someone who was able to fix their problem, with a product that you're selling. So it's more kind of like educational format, and it's positioned in a way as something that, like an article, right? Like an article, instead of just like standard product page that most people are using, which are not working as effective anymore. The Shopify stores you run, your stores, do they have custom or AliExpress products? We didn't do anything with AliExpress. That is just good to start with, but like the moment you see traction, you want to be as custom as possible. So for us, it's custom products, custom branding, custom everything. You told me to let you know if that makes sense. That makes absolute sense. Thank you, someone. Someone. All right, Khalid. Nice to see you, Alex. How are things going with the Florida hurricane? Are you okay? Thank you, Khalid. Yeah, everything is good here in Miami. It's actually pretty good. Like, no problem at all. We've been blessed, not getting hit by a hurricane. Hurricane got hit the other side of Florida. Florida is pretty big. And those people are unfortunately have suffered some, damages. But in Miami, everything is good. And we are blessed not getting hit by a hurricane. Where do we DM you? On Instagram. So on Instagram, this is my Instagram here. This is my Instagram. Just DM me whatever resources I mentioned throughout this call. Either it's suppliers, Facebook ads, scaling, advertorials, even conversion rate optimization, if that's your problem right now. Just DM me those things, and I'll send you specific resources, and I'll see exactly how I can help you. This is my Instagram here. DM me. Don't be shy. Shy people very rarely get rich. Shy people, no, don't be shy. Just DM me here. Alex Fedotov, 3F at the end, on Instagram. On X. Okay. Someone DM'd you on X. Yeah, I'm not using X. I'm sorry. I have like thousands of DMs on X, and simply I don't have time to go through all of those. I'm mostly using Instagram. If you can just DM me on Instagram, this is my Instagram here. I'll send you those documents ASAP. This is my Instagram, by the way. So thanks, Alex, for the answer. And Nita, thank you so much for the question. How much is Facebook ads cost per website purchase using Shopify website? It depends on the product, depends on your average order value, depends on your conversion rate. So I need more context for that. Yes, please give me more context, and I'll tell you the approximate how much Facebook ads would cost for your specific product. What do you mean by custom product? You mean own idea, own designs, own R&D team from scratch? Usually, what I mean by custom products is like you have. Let's see where I can show you. Okay, so. For example, right? If I was selling this product, right? It's not our product. It's just some nootropic product that I'm buying. All right. So you can source private label products with this specific, with all of the ingredients, with all of the things. The same comes with gadgets, right? There's some products that are like in stock that some factories have, and you can start selling that product. But then let's say I wanted to make this product fully mine, right? So I would design the branding here. I would design, if I wanted to improve the formula here, for example, it has specific ingredients. Let's say I wanted to adjust some of those ingredients because I want to make the product more effective for my customers. Then I would send those suggestions to my supplier, and they would help me to develop the custom formula. The factory would help me with that because they usually have the R&D team in place. Good factories always have that. If they don't have it, that's simply too small factory, and you don't want to work with those because they don't have the capacity, and then you have to search for that R&D team externally. Ideally, it would be in-house for that factory, for that supplier that you work with. And so you would work with them to help you develop the custom formula, to develop custom branding. They will send you the samples. After that, you would either approve it or disapprove it, and give them feedback on what needs to be improved with that packaging, with that formula. You give them feedback, they improve it. Once you approve it, then it's totally your custom branding. It's totally your custom packaging. Let's say if I wanted to do it like not blue, it's actually blue color here. Here. If I wanted to make like a green bottle, if I wanted to make like a red bottle, I'll tell them, okay, I want to source this bottle, but I want to source it in a red color. I want to source it like in a yellow color, whichever color I want. Then I can make it my own color. I can make it my own branding. I can make it my own formula. And that becomes a custom product that I can sell that is different from other people that are selling similar product. So that's what I mean by custom product. And the same comes down to the gadgets. If you have a gadget, but let's say, oh, I want to change the battery. I want to make the battery more powerful. I want to change the design. Maybe you have some other designs in stock that you can develop for me that will be different from other people selling the same product. So as long as you're working with the right suppliers, as long as you're working with the right factory, that will be absolutely no problem to do because they have R&D team in place because they want to help their customers to develop more custom products that they can sell and differentiate from other people. Let me know if that makes sense. Fan of DTC. Polka Caddy. You're the only one teaching legitimate info in e-commerce. Thank you so much, Polka Caddy. So, fan of DTC. Let's say I sell bird trimmer from AE, Arab Emirates, I think. How would you turn it into custom product? Talk to your factory. It's like, first thing you need to have like a custom, like you need to have like a very good clarity on what exactly you want to change about the product. So with bird trimmer, I don't know, maybe you want to have a different design, or maybe you want to have your logo like in front of the, on the product, or maybe you want to have like a different blades, or maybe you want to have different packaging. As long as you know exactly what you want, how you want to differentiate that product, and you can get all of those ideas just from buying, successful brands products on the market. So let's say, oh, they have better packaging. Oh, they have their logo here. Oh, they have like this feature. Then as long as you know exactly what you want, you reach out to your supplier and say, okay, I want to get the same product, but I want to have, all of these things. Can you source it for me? Can you help me to develop it? And they'll help you. If they're the right partner, if they're the right supplier, then they'll help you to customize your product and make it your own. Uniforme. Okay, if you had to give us your 5 best advices for e-commerce brand, what would it be? Number 1, think about it long term. Don't chase just like revenue or like very quick scaling. Focus on something that you can build over the long period of time, which is not the advice that most people would give, right? Like people would just say, make money, like, and scale it, and then sell whatever product, just milk it. Number 2 is focus on the product. So if you have, like we covered today, a lot on the product development side of things, focus on how you can improve your product and how you can make your product unique and different from other people selling similar products. Number 3, think about how you can, once your business starts to get traction, what team members you need to bring in place to make the process like more efficient, and also to get yourself more time so that you can focus on things that matter for the business. Number 4 is align your expectations, right? And think about everything that you do as a learning experience. It's like most people would just get into e-commerce, they start a Shopify store, and then it doesn't work, from the first try that they have, and they quit. Most people are quitters. And they just like, oh, I want to do something else now. E-commerce is a scam, right? If you have that mindset, you'll never be successful. And focus on, okay, so I've learned something from this, like this product didn't work, and then talk to someone who's already done e-commerce, like, okay, why this product didn't work? Why this launch didn't work? Why I tested this product and it doesn't sell? So they would give you feedback so that next time you can do it in a smarter way. And then over time, if you focus on it and you're learning from each one of those experiences, within like 6 to 12 months, you become very good at what you do. You actually have a skill. Okay, so there's this product, there's this market that has a specific problem. There's these like 20 different products I can sell to that market to solve that specific problem. Which one of these products makes the most sense to sell? Which product has the best profit margins, the best cost structure? Which product I can scale? So now you have an actual skill set that you can leverage for the rest of your life. And so that's what I would recommend. Yeah. Let me know if that makes sense. I mean, what monthly volume is okay for a supplier to start discuss custom branding, etc.? Custom branding is actually like most suppliers would do a custom branding for you if you're willing to order 500, 1,000 units. So if you wanted, let's say, 500 of these bottles, now with supplements, it could be slightly different, but with gadgets, like 500 units, if you pre-order 500 products from them, they're willing to do the custom branding. They'll print the custom packaging for you. They'll do like kind of like customization so that the product looks unique yours. Let me know if that makes sense. Vitaly Serbin. So yeah, custom products. Yeah, there's many layers to this, right? Custom products mean one level higher compared to AliExpress products. Yeah, there's many levels of this improvement, but the easiest one after you validated the product is just to have your custom branding. After that, you can start improving the product itself. And then if you want to get like really advanced, then you can just start developing products from scratch, which I would not recommend to most people. Let's say you want to develop a custom gadget that no one else is selling and like never existed before, and you just want to spend $50,000, $100,000 just to develop that product. I would not recommend that to most people because it's a big investment. You don't know whether that will actually work. And if you think about Kickstarter, if you go on Kickstarter, that's usually what those people are trying to do. Like they kind of develop this custom product. Maybe they have the prototype, they make some content with it. But the problem with those people on Kickstarter, also Indiegogo, is that most of those people cannot actually fulfill their product because maybe they created a prototype and it works well, but then once they start to like ramp up production and like they actually have orders and they have to fulfill those orders, they realize that they cannot actually manufacture those products because they've never done it before, and they need so many custom things in order to develop that product. So I would not recommend that for most people, but you can get to millions of dollars per month just by having custom branding, custom packaging. You can do some optimizations about like how the product looks from the outside, whereas you can do millions of dollars per month with it. So that's what I would recommend for most people. And if you want to go like really, really fancy, just that will take some risk, right? If you're willing to just risk $50,000, $100,000 to develop some custom like molds and everything custom, then it makes sense for you. All right, team, I have to finish. Have some stuff to do here, and I appreciate you joining in. I appreciate all the questions. The questions are phenomenal. Again, all of the resources I've shared with you today, I will share them with you on Instagram. So just DM me on Instagram, and I'll share all of those resources with you. If you need suppliers, if you need Facebook ad strategies, if you need product research strategies, if you need product research templates, if you need advertorials resources, VSL resources, just DM me those specific keywords here in the DM so that I can send you relevant content. I can help you to scale your business. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for amazing questions.